this is Tanya, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Bieler broth. The funny thing about making a Bieler broth is that Dr. Bieler himself didn't want to be known for recipes or diets because he didn't believe in them. He didn't think that people were all so different that we didn't need to have a standardized thing, yet he's known for a broth, so that's quite funny. He also wrote a book called Food is Your Best Medicine. And he was known to believe that a disturbed function in your body is not because of anything else except for improper food and your lifestyle choices. So I kind of know that, and I think that's kind of cool. One of the ingredients of a Bieler broth is parsley, and sometimes when you go to the shop you find flat parsley, and you can be confused because it's right next door to cilantro or coriander. And they look very similar. The difference I would say is that there's a slightly rounder leaf on the coriander or cilantro. But the best thing to do is to just decide which one it is by trying it. That's coriander. So let's try this one. Yeah, definitely parsley. So I'm going to use flat parsley today in my Bieler broth. I've just filled from my alkaline water machine the bottom of my steamer, and I've put in, maybe a third full of the actual saucepan itself. And I'm putting that on my heat. And then I'm going to put my steamer on top. Let me just move this so you can see. Okay. And then in here I'm going to be putting some courgette. And by the way, I have some already made. Zucchini, otherwise you can see it like this. I'm going to cut these up, wash them, cut them, and I'm going to put some celery in there as well. So as you can see, I've put the parsley in there as well, and I put all the stalks in. I don't care about that. I think they've got flavour and taste. And then I'm literally going to be putting my beans in. I find it's easiest to cut the ends off with a pair of scissors. I tend not to worry too much about the tail end, but it seems that I am today. I'm just worrying about the actual bit where I attach to the branch. Now I'm going to make quite a big Bieler broth because I go through it a lot and I don't want to make it all the time. So in terms of proportions, what I've done is I put in, say, for this many beans, I'll put in 4 or 5 courgettes or zucchini. What I try and do is make it so that there's as many beans as there are zucchini, or maybe a few more beans to that. What I'm trying to say is that when I looked up Bieler broths to see what everyone made, there's lots of different versions. And I realised that some people cook their vegetables for 30 minutes, which I think is far too long. You don't have to be a chef to do this. This is incredibly easy. Although I do have a diploma in cookery, so I do somewhat know what I'm talking about. One of the things that you would like to do, if you wanted to, is you could use frozen beans. You wouldn't need to cook them hardly at all. Obviously, what you ideally want is organic beans and organic everything. But again, it's much better to be doing this than not doing it because you can't get hold of the produce in the form that you want it. And obviously there's a budget involved, and you might find that your budget doesn't quite stretch to organic every time. And I find that I eat this quickly. It goes down fast. I eat a lot of it. So I'm going to put these in here, then I'm going to steam them for about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to check the courgette to see how they're going, and I'm going to make sure the beans are soft enough to be put into my machine. So here it is. This is my steamer. It's working away. It has courgette, parsley, beans, and somewhere under here, celery. I used 2 stalks of celery. And then I'm going to just put the lid onto the top and let it cook away. So I'm just going to check on them and see how it's going. And I can feel that the courgette, I can stick my fork in. And the beans are just a little bit, they just need a few seconds longer. Can you see the colour? It's fabulous, isn't it? But if I cook it any longer, the colour starts to die off, and I think that's when you've got a sign you've overcooked your veggies. So I'm just going to leave it on for another minute. Okay, so they're fine now. So I'm going to move this across here, off the heat, and I'm going to start putting these all into this blender. So I put it all in there, and I then put the lid on here and zap it. Ready? Now I do this so that everything is all mashed down, but it's still a little bit chunky, because that's how I like it, but you could make it even smoother if you like. That is the basis of your broth. Essentially, what you can do if you want it to be less thick is add the water from underneath, because that still has some of the nutrients in there too. You can make it as thin or as thick as you like. I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. And so here we have it. This is my Bieler Broth. Mine's very chunky, thick, because that's what I feel like right now. I'm really quite hungry. I've added some of the water, and I've used salt and pepper again to make it more seasoned. Yummy. And there's lots of ways you can adjust it. For example, putting peas in it, or kale, or spinach. So you can make it feel a bit different. You could use a bit of miso, or even some of the liquid aminos. That would make it different too. And if you look online, you'll see many different people's versions of it. But this is mine. Bye for now.